Let's take a deep breath. We're almost at the end of 2021. The countdown is starting, and how many of you are just so ready to end this year and start a fresh new year, right? But before we do that, in this video, I am gonna walk us through how we can reflect, how we can take that time and reflect over the past year. Now, don't get scared in your boots or anything just yet, because I understand it has been an incredibly hard year for so many. I know I've cried my tears for my own challenges and my family, and I've cried tears for my clients and friends. So I understand. So I know I got a smile on my face, and I know I come with a lot of energy, but darn it, sometimes you gotta get up and say, I am stronger than I realized. And you are too. You are stronger than you sometimes realize. And I'm here to tell you, you are a powerful and brilliant woman. So if you don't know me yet, I'm Pauline Erickson, and I help women entrepreneurs and creatives shine their brilliance out into the world and create a prosperous life and business that feels worthy of your time and your energy. So, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want some of the goodness that I have to offer and share with you, and make any comments that you want below this video. I would love to hear how 2021 has been for you. For some of us, it's been a huge win, right? There's a lot of good. And so that's why we're going to take some time. And I have a special process I'm going to share with you in this video of how to create a full picture for ourselves of this past year and really reflect. Now why even take that kind of time to reflect, right? And I'm not talking like I don't have some huge complex system that's going to take you hours. No. This is actually a pretty quick process. But first, let's start out maybe with understanding why we would even take that bit of time and energy to do it. Well, I've got 4 pretty brilliant reasons. One is self-awareness. Self-awareness. I know you're busy, and sometimes when we're going through emotional stuff, we lose track of time, right? But life is still going on. And so to look over the year so that we can be more self-aware. Now, maybe we get insights into our brilliance. We get more insights into what's needed. So self-awareness really brings self-acceptance, a way to process. You know, sometimes if there has been challenges, when you're in it, it's just way too hard to look at it deeply. But when you get a little distance from it, sometimes it's a little bit easier to look back to the past and get some really powerful, magical insights and self-awareness. So we're going to do that. That's number 1. That's why. Number 2, I believe you are worth honoring your journey. No matter, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. In fact, it's our challenges, is it not, that often make our strength, cultivate our strength and our wisdom and our own inner beauty. So honoring that journey of how we got to this point of where we are this year. Where have you been, right? Where have you been? What have you been doing with your time and your energy? Number 3, it helps to reflect in order to identify where we are now. Where are we now? Where have we been? But also, where are we now? Before even looking into the future, before even setting goals and a vision for our future, we need to know where we are. And 4, you know, like I said, sometimes when there's significant emotional events, it can overshadow a lot of the other stuff that has gone on in our year. And the 4th reason I would say to have some reflection on the year is so that we can get our head and our heart right. Now realize I'm not insinuating that there's something wrong with your brain or your mind or your heart, but sometimes can we not think things are worse than they are or better than they are? Sometimes our mind plays tricks on us. And sometimes our heart, it can be full of passion one minute and then so afraid and closed off and protective another minute, right? And so just taking a little process time as we reflect, so we see the full picture, because life isn't all bad and often it's not all good, but we can glean something good from all of it if we take the time to process our thinking and our emotions and the facts, what really happened in the year. And it can help us get in a good place before moving into the next year. So I hope those are good enough reasons for you to want to reflect, right? But before we get to the how, that's coming up. Before we get to the how, I want to share with you, I have a PDF that you can download. There's a link in the description box below this video. It's a free downloadable. So it's just a little worksheet that's going to help you like process through, a place to write these things down and kind of be able to detail in on what it is that you're looking for and get clear on what you're writing down. So it's just a simple worksheet. Like I said, it's not like super complex, but it might make it easier just for you to focus. The other thing I would share is also I have a special opportunity, so you'll want to stick around. Towards the end of the video, I'll share a special opportunity I have for you. But I also I want to share with you some specifics on getting clarity while processing our emotions. So I basically have 5 questions. That's it. 5 questions that you're going to ask yourself. But before we get to that, you're going to need a few things. Okay. So you're going to need something to write with, maybe that PDF that I mentioned, you can download that, or even just a piece of paper, right? Doesn't have to be anything fancy. I know I have some really amazing creative DIY friends, and they're all into the glitter and the stickers and the complex planning systems and all of that. And if that's you, like seriously knock yourself out. Make this an enjoyable process. You do it your way. But no matter how you do it, there's still 5 questions that I'm going to ask you. So the other thing you're going to need, and this gets kind of fun, you're going to need your phone. So assuming you have a cell phone that you take pictures with and you have pictures stored somewhere on that cell phone, or maybe for you it's an iPad or a regular camera, and wherever you store your pictures, you'll need that. You'll also need a calendar or a planner from this past year. No, not a calendar for next year yet, or a planner for next year. That comes later. You want to pay attention to what the opportunity I have for you later is. But for now, just like maybe you're like me and you have a wall calendar that you put family events or important dates on. And maybe you also have like a day planner, right? Something you write in throughout the year. And keep your appointments and to-dos, important to-dos. Maybe some of you are digital. Well, I'm getting better at that. I actually this year, that's one thing I did start was a digital calendar, but I still have all of it going on. And maybe you're that way too. However it is that you store your to-do lists and your projects and your important events and appointments, you'll want to have that handy. And let's see. There's one more thing. Oh, yes. You'll want your bank account information available. No, I don't want to see it. but you're going to want to see it because you're going to want to review what you spent your money on. What was it that was important enough to you that you would spend money on? Besides your time, you spent your money on some things. And maybe some important things. Maybe there were some trips you took and it'll jog your memory, or some special restaurants you went to, or some special gifts that you purchased for yourself or others. Maybe that related to some special event that you might have forgotten about. Maybe you took some special trainings that were amazing and impactful for you, right? Maybe you invested in yourself or your business or your hobby or your craft. So our bank account will help jog our memory there. So get those three things: your pictures, your calendars, however many you might have, and your bank account information, your log of how you spent your money. However you see that, store that information. I'm assuming a lot of you do that digitally too. After all, my husband's always telling me, Pauline, it is, 21st century. So get with it. I'm just a little slow to adapt, I will admit. All right, so now that you have those things, what we're gonna do is we're looking for the magic. We're gonna pull out and reflect on the magic from your year using those things. Does that sound good? But before we get into the questions, I'm a yoga teacher and a meditation guide. And of course, I'm going to have us breathe a little. So let's take some deep breaths. Go ahead and breathe in through your nose and breathe down all the way into your lower belly. And then exhale. And just let that breath just drag out as long as you want to take, right? Really enjoy that breath. And again, inhale, nice deep in breath. Breathing in through the nose. And exhale. You might even sigh. I tend to make noise. Maybe you do too. And just feel the breath. Be with your breath. Notice your breath, and just allow your breath to take you on a little journey inside yourself. Maybe you feel your toes. I often like to put one hand over my heart center, my heart chakra. Just kind of feeling my breath travel through my heart space. And another hand over my belly. And just breathing into that solar plexus area, that creative power source that we have deep within us. So one hand over your heart, maybe one hand over your belly, and just take again another few breaths at your own pace. And just notice how nice that feels. And maybe you're enjoying the beauty of my scenery. This is my property. It's snowed recently and it's just so gorgeous. I gotta show you just how beautiful. I don't know if, I can't turn the camera around. I was gonna turn the camera around. Oh, I guess I could do this. Let's see if I can show you by going like this. Just notice what a beautiful sky and all the snow. Yes, it's winter here. I know some of you might be in Australia or somewhere else and it's, not winter. But wherever you are, take a moment and just appreciate the beauty of your own environment. And that's why I kind of brought myself out here. I want to look over my year from a place and a sense of feeling connected to myself. That's why we did the breathing. But also with beauty. If you want to play music in the background when you do your reflection process, feel free to. So again, you might watch this video once and then go back through and actually do the process, however you want to do it. But what we're looking for are some magical moments. And literally sometimes they really are just moments. They're moments in time that represent maybe a lot of effort that went into that moment. And that's why we capture it with a picture, right? But also, I want you to do this. Maybe even just take your arms and just wrap your arms, hug yourself, and remind yourself to do this with compassion, just self-compassion. Like if your best friend was sharing with you some important points about their life and you would listen with kindness and compassion. And so I invite you to do that for yourself, okay? So as we're answering these questions, explore the depth of your soul, your mind, your heart, and do it with kindness and grace. And you'll still get really, really amazing, powerful insights without beating yourself up. All right? Deal? All right, now we can go on. Here's your 5 questions. Number 1, what are you proud of as you look back over your year? What are you proud of? Now, this can be personally or professionally, something that you're proud of, both. And just write whatever comes to mind from this year. Look at those pictures, your calendar, your bank account, and just scan it and let whatever pops up where you feel a sense of pride. Now, here's a couple examples, because I talk to a lot of people. I'm a coach, a massage therapist, and a yoga teacher. I serve people. I talk to lots of people all year long, and I get into it with their life, right? So I'm here to tell you, it's easy when it comes to wins to underestimate that we actually have some wins, right? And so, especially with women, I'm telling you what, it happens so easily, you might not even know you're doing it. You might think, oh, that little thing, is that really a win? Yeah, it's a win, no matter how big or small. Feel into a sense of pride, what you feel good about in yourself. Here's some examples. Okay, personally, I know I have some clients that their children graduated this past summer, right? They graduated from high school and they went off to college. And, they graduated, they got scholarships, they were courageous and stepped into their future. And that feels really good, right? As a parent, if that's you, that's something to be really proud of, right? I also have some clients that raised their prices this year. They've been doing their career for 30 years and they forgot to look at how they're charging. And they were like, yeah, I raised my prices. It was pretty scary. Some of them said it was really kind of scary to do it, but they did it. And there's just this sense of pride that comes from taking that courage and that big step, right? So there's a couple examples. Maybe you started a business this year and you're proud of yourself for stepping out and doing that. Maybe for me, something I'm proud of is I finally, after wanting it for over 10 years, this was the year I remodeled a building on our property, made a yoga studio out of it. And I feel a sense of pride for so many reasons for doing that, which I won't get into. So as you go through, I give you several examples. It could be personal. Maybe you lost weight and you feel great in your clothes. I don't know. Maybe you gave yourself a new look. You got a new hairstyle. Maybe you got married. Maybe you started dating. Dare I say, maybe you got divorced, and that's a good thing. You're proud of, doing the big scary thing. I don't know. We all view things differently. So go ahead and write however many things come to mind or that you jog your memory as you look at those pictures and you just feel a sense of, yeah, I feel really, really proud about that moment. Second, number 2, as you're looking through those pictures, I want you to notice what you're grateful for. Personally and professionally, what are you grateful for? I am so grateful for some new friendships that I made this year. That they just bring joy. They bring joy to my day. and make life more fun. Make my work life more fun. Make my personal life more fun. I'm so grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my husband, my daughter. I'm grateful for my mother and my father. I'm grateful for the beauty. I tend to take a lot of pictures of views, of sunsets, of flowers. If you follow me, you'll see lots of beauty. And I'm so grateful. I have, at a deep heart level, for the beauty of our planet. What are you grateful for? As you look through those pictures, just feel your emotions. Get out of your head as you're looking at these pictures. Notice when you feel that feeling of thankfulness and gratitude. Get into your heart. And bring that to your conscious awareness and write it down. Okay? Number 3. Where have you failed? I did it. I said the F word. I know some of us don't like to admit failures, and I understand, because I will go to any length sometimes not to fail. I have a lot of persistence and determination. I learned that because, I went through 17 miscarriages. Talk about failure. I felt like I failed. I know everybody tells me you didn't fail. It's something that happened to you. It wasn't your failure, but it feels like it. Sometimes what we go through, what happens in our life, when we feel like we've let others down or we're let down, we let ourselves down, something doesn't go as we expect, no matter how hard we work at it, it feels like a failure. It really does. Sometimes we fail other people, we fail ourselves. Sometimes it just feels like a failure. But if you feel it as a failure, it feels like a failure. So I want to address those feelings. So maybe you're looking at your bank account, your pictures, your calendar. Maybe there were some plans that didn't happen, right? And just acknowledge that feeling of failure. As uncomfortable as it feels, if we don't feel the feelings, then they just get stuck somewhere in us. So we're here to process through. I promise you, if you have those feelings of failure, you know what that means? It means you took courageous action. Somewhere you were courageous. You stepped out and you tried something new. Maybe you started dating again. I don't know. And you just got a lot of rejection and it feels like a failure. You took courageous action. That's what that means, right? You know what else it means? If you have failure in your life, it means you have a lesson that you can leverage for your future success, right? And it's not just any old lesson. Hear me on this. This is really important. You want it to be a positive lesson that's good for you. You don't want it to be a negative lesson. So let's go to that example. And it's really important that you understand this. I know some of you get it, but I just really want to be clear because I'm not in the room with you, even though you think I'm in the room with you. I'm not. And I want to make sure you understand this. So let's go to that example. I'm married. I'm happily married. It's been a long time since I dated, but I do remember the feeling of rejection. And I do remember how scary it was going on a date. So I'm going to use that example. And so let's just say that I let one of my friends set me up. And I went on this date, kind of this blind date. Some good friend of mine who I trust set me up. This didn't really happen. I'm just making this up. And it was a total flop. It was horrible. Not only was it a waste of my time, which is very valuable to me, but it was an embarrassment. It was like a shock. I kept thinking, how could my friend think that this would be a good person for me? Like, and you play all these stories in your mind. And anyways, and I could walk away from that experience taking the lesson, a negative lesson that's like, man, I'm never letting anybody set me up again. Wouldn't that be tempting? Wouldn't that be tempting to like go, there's no way I'm doing that again? That would be really tempting. I'm here to tell you, I would be tempted. I would be very tempted to feel that way. But I think there's a more powerful and positive lesson that I could walk away with there, that I could leverage, a lesson that I could leverage in a positive way for my future. And there could be lots of positive lessons from that, but one of them that comes to mind for me would be this. Next time I let a friend set me up, I'm gonna make sure that I ask lots of questions before I say yes. I'm gonna ask questions about this person that they're setting me up with, right? I could ask, what is it about this person that you think would be good for me? I could ask about their past relationships, how they ended. How does he treat his mom? I could ask, what kind of work does he do? I could ask, how do you know this person, right? How do you know him? How long have you known him? What qualities do you see in him? I could ask so many questions. And I could also, if he has a Facebook profile, I could be like researching his Facebook profile or whatever social media he might be on, right? I mean, there's so many things I could have done that possibly I could have said, no, thank you, right? If it wasn't what I thought was a good fit. And then I wouldn't have had that bad experience. And I would just say, that's fine. You want to set me up, but just find somebody else to set me up with, right? And I could have avoided that whole horrible experience. So that's an example of a positive lesson that I could leverage for my future. So as you go through, I like to teach with story. Can you tell? So as you go through that question, make sure whatever failure that you experienced this year, whether, somebody failed you, you failed them, an expectation wasn't met that you had for yourself, something didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, make sure that you look back and get a positive lesson, all right? And this is where having grace and compassion for yourself is really important. And remember, in order to have a failure, that means you took courageous action, all right? So number 5, we're at number 5 now. We're done with the, no, we're at number 4. I am so sorry. We're only at number 4. Okay, number 4. What challenged you this year? We all feel challenged differently. Some of us feel really stressed when we're challenged, like we get all tense. I personally, when I'm challenged, I feel frustration. I know frustration is the moment before new learning. Anytime I'm frustrated, I know I'm about to learn something, right? But I know people that they get confused. They feel confusion. Like, so if you feel confusion in your life, maybe there's a challenge there. There's something to learn from it. Some people feel a lot of anxiety or anxiousness or fear or worry. So some people feel sadness or guilt. There's some pretty heavy emotions that we can experience and feel in our life when we are challenged. So I want you to look back. As you look back through the year, those pictures, maybe you're reminded of some of these feelings where you were really challenged. I want you to write it down. Write down specifically, like, man, I was really challenged in that friendship this year when I had to, say something honestly, or I was really challenged in my business because I was scared to make offers. And I was, whatever it is for you, where were you challenged? It could be personally and professionally and or both. And remember, if you weren't challenged throughout the year, I want to know then, where did you grow? Where did you grow? So expect that you will find a challenge somewhere in your year, right? Where were you challenged? And maybe you're still really challenged right now. In all honesty, there's been a lot to grieve in the last couple years, a lot of loss, and we may still be grieving that. And my heart goes out to you. And we may still be dealing with that challenge of grieving and working through that sadness. Maybe we lost jobs. Maybe we had to relocate. Some of us, you know, our marriage status has changed, or, you know, there's so much, right? And it can take a while to work through that. And so, you know, I just send you love. And if you need support and guidance through that, I wish that for you. I really do. And become aware if that's what you need, and reach out. You can ask for help. You can connect with me further, or I can help put you in touch with somebody. So just remember, you're not alone. You are so not alone. And I don't just mean you're not alone because there's other people going through it. Because I'll tell you what, when I was going through my 17 miscarriages, and somebody would say, you know, well, you're not the only one, that just pissed me off. That didn't make me feel better. I know it might make some people feel better knowing, you know, other people are going through what you're going through. For me personally, I'll just raise my hand. That did not make me feel better. That made me even more mad that there were other women and spouses that were having to go through this. It just made me even more mad. So you aren't alone in that sense, but you're also just not alone in somebody holding space for you to process and be with your feelings. You know that feeling when you can just be in the room with somebody and nothing even has to be said. They're just there for you. I want you to feel that. Okay? So if when you're looking through the past year and some of this comes up, breathe. I want you to breathe through it. Just take another breath. Breathe that life force energy into your body. And write it down. Write it down. Whatever that thing is that challenged you or you're still going through. Now remember, it can feel like confusion, frustration, sadness, anxious, fear, grief, guilt. And if you need healing, support, ask for it. Ask for it. Reach out. Now, some of us might be challenged in a different kind of way, right? Like, I used to be super tech challenged. Oh my gosh, the T word, tech. I'm getting better. I changed my mindset around that. And in doing that, I have really learned a lot. And I feel a lot more comfortable with some things. But I'll tell you what, there's still things for me to learn. And so when I look at what has challenged me, that's one of them. And so I'm going to look for skill development. I'm just going to keep developing my skills when it comes to that. So that's that. Now, number 5, this is the last question you're going to ask yourself, and look through those pictures and your bank account and your calendars. You're going to ask yourself, what lit you up? What lit you up? Okay, so if that's not terminology that like resonates with you, what brought you joy? What brought you joy? As you look at these pictures, you know, what sparks inspiration? Did anything spark and inspire you this past year? Maybe you got some new insights, some aha moments. Were there some aha moments for you this past year? Those are huge. Those are like those lightning bolt moments that, like, you know, you just feel that you're like, and your eyes open and you're awakened and you see things for like the first time, right? Maybe I have a wonderful friend. She became a grandma and she's just so in love with her grandson, right? Talk about what brought her joy, you know? So I know you have those moments too. I know you do. And even if we've had a hell of a year, maybe there was a moment where somebody gave you an encouraging word and you felt connection with another human being. I've had those moments, and I'll tell you what, those are incredibly healing moments. And maybe you wouldn't say, well, that sparked joy, but it was a definite wow moment. And I want you to put that here, okay? Maybe, you went to a new place and you experienced some different culture or different food. And you're like, man, I didn't know I love Thai food. Wow. Or you saw some new place. I remember, it wasn't this past year, it was before COVID. But we went to Switzerland, and for my 50th birthday, this was a few years ago now, for my 50th birthday, we went on top of one of the Alps in Switzerland, and I sat in an outdoor spa, and I sat out in the outdoor spa, and I could look out at all the mountaintops. It was so gorgeous. It was breathtaking, and I just sat there in awe. I'll tell you what, I will never, ever forget that moment. Sometimes we have those kind of moments. And they kind of don't last a long time. So look for what your wow moment was for 2021 and write them down. And I hope that you had more than one. But even if all you can find is one, that's all it takes sometimes, right? All it takes is like one good idea, right? So those are the 5 things. Do I need to summarize? No, I don't want to take the time to do that. Download the PDF. It'll all be there for you. Rewatch this video and work through those things. Now, there is more. There is more. First of all, though, before I get to the last thing you're going to do in this process, which is really powerful, right? Before I get to that, I want to let you know about a special offer I have. So me and a couple of my really dear friends are getting together, and we're doing a vision making workshop for 2022. We're going to make, actually, I used to do these in person all the time with my friends, and we're going to make a vision board. This was one from a couple years ago, before COVID, that I did. And so you can see how fun that is. And it's really quite simple, especially after you do this process and answer the next questions I'm going to ask you. It makes it easy to get ready for the new year and what the new year has to bring for you. So I invite you to sign up below. There's a link below to sign up for the vision making workshop. And like I said, I have a couple friends, Stephanie Jones from Stephanie Jones Wellness. She is an amazing organizer and planner. I tell you what, she is going to give us a bonus webinar on goal planning. So once you have your vision, right? The vision's one thing, but now you gotta like set goals and take action. And she's great at helping you do that. So she's going to be a part of this. And I have another bonus. I have my friend, Nancy Brooker. She is an amazing, dear sweetheart of a friend. And she's a wonderful life coach. She does specializes in relationship coaching. And she's a master EFTer. And she's offering a webinar bonus tapping into that new year. So often when we set goals for ourselves, some of them are big, scary goals. Fear, overwhelm, stuff like that gets in the way. And she's gonna teach us how to tap into the future so we can tap away those fears and be able to move forward with more ease and joy, accomplishing those things that we set out to do next year. So those 2 things, and a third bonus. So I did mention that I'm a yoga teacher, right? And you'll get 7-day free pass to my online yoga inner circle community where we do meditation and yoga live on Zoom. So those are 3 bonuses in addition to creating your own vision board. Now, so you can sign up in the link below. If you have questions, reach out to me. But I want to finish this process of reflection with you. There are a few more questions to ask. So after you've kind of done those 5 questions, the last thing you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself, what kind of a person were you to create those outcomes that you wrote down? What kind of a person were you to create those outcomes? Remember those wins? What kind of a person were you to do that? And you could look at all those things that you wrote down and ask yourself, what kind of a person were you? I kind of alluded to that earlier, right? With those moments of challenge. And I said, wow, you took courageous action. So if you found a challenge there, you can definitely write down under this question, answer, I was courageous. I took action. I was an action taker, right? Okay, so that's question 1. Question 2, what was the most significant change or lesson of 2021? Did something in 2021 impact you? And I get it, even if it's a negative impact, it feels like a negative impact for now. You haven't gotten to the other side of it. Because if it does feel like a negative impact, I am believing for you that down the road a little farther, you'll be able to look back and go, thank God something like that happened. Because that happened, I now am doing this. Or I am now believing this, right? If you're not there yet, that's totally okay. Write down whatever significant change or lesson that you learned in 2021. Number 3, if you could give this whole past year a theme word, what would that be? What would that be? Like as you look down, you would have had to make this list already. So, you know, you can't answer these questions if you didn't first make that list, right? But if you've already made that list, I want you to come up with a theme word for your 2021. One word that kind of characterizes that year for you. And preferably, find a positive word, right? You know, even if something was just a hell of a year, you can come up with a positive word. Like this was a year I survived. That's positive. You survived, right? Number 4, this is the last thing. What would you like to transform, transmute, heal, or create in 2022? And I'll give you a clue. As you look to what has challenged you this past year, there might be a clue there for something that you want to change or create, or a skill that you want to develop or learn about. But otherwise, yeah, what comes to mind as you look through that list of yours? What would you like to transform, transmute, heal, or create in 2022? And just free write. Don't get all perfectionistic on me. You know, just make a brainstorm list. And that's the list that you're going to bring to the vision board workshop. All right? So that's kind of all I have for you. So be sure to sign up for that workshop below.